Hi, welcome, Petey Gibson. Congratulations on your character C in the new Fox show Alert. How are you?
Uh, I'm living my dreams, Tracy. I'm living my dreams.
You really are. I mean, this is a great way to start out 2023 is with a show on Fox. That's pretty great.
It's been very exciting. Yes, I feel good about it. It's nice to have nice news. So that feels really
Yeah,
good. And I it's nice to like the show that I'm doing as well. So it's been really great.
great. Well, I've watched the first two episodes and I'm riveted. I'm going to keep watching. So that's great for on my end.
I want to watch the first two episodes. I've seen what Instagram has seen basically. So I'm just like,
So I'm ahead of you. Uh,
great. I'm glad you like it. That's good.
I do. I do. I want to really begin, though, by asking you to share a little bit of your background as an actor, as a comedian, and how you arrived at Alert.
Yeah, I gotta say, when the audition came through for like a procedural on Fox, I was like, I'm a Groundlings trained comedian. Like, what?
Yeah.
That was really wild, and to have booked this role is really like incredible because yeah, I've mostly been a comedian and an actor. I'm from the Groundlings School of Improv. I've done stand up, and then most of my acting career was like I did Broad City, I did Grace and Frankie. So
Mhm.
it's been like these little parts here and there. Um, and then yeah, this audition came through, and when I read about the character, I was like, holy crap, this is exciting that this character is even going to exist on TV. And then when I got the call that I got to bring this character to life, I was like, well, look at us. We're living, we're thriving. So yeah, I'm over the moon about it. It's really exciting.
Wonderful. Well, I have to say that I rewatched your reel yesterday, or I watched your reel, and I forgot. I rewatched the Broad City scene. That oh my god, so funny. Where you play a waiter who's dabbing Ilana Glazer.
Yes, yeah, and I didn't quite realize that scene was so pivotal. It was basically the scene where, Alana and her partner figure out if they're gonna stay together or not, and it's in the final season of Broad City. And then when I saw that, I was like, oh, this is kind of a pivotal scene. I wish I'd acted better, but I think probably every actor.
Oh, I thought you were terrific. It was so funny. But
Thanks.
so I wanted to like touch on that and then pivot to your character C. Would you talk a little bit more about how C plays into this show, which is really about missing persons, finding missing persons?
Yeah, I get to be the guy in the lab, which is like dream role on a show like this, to be the person that, gets to be a little like weirder, a little more artsy. Obviously this show is not a comedy, but there is some levity to it, and it's exciting for me to get to have some lines of levity and also just be like a real fully formed person. I see Hemingway, which thank you, John Eisendrath, for that name. What an epic poetic name. I love the name C. Hemingway.
Mhm.
Um, C is the head of the forensic imaging unit. So I have this incredible lab. And it's sort of my character is does the forensic science and rebuilding, if a skeleton is found, sort of being able to like figure out who this person was through digital imaging, but also working with remains. That's been really interesting. I've learned a little bit of like clay work to rebuild the way that, so I've been studying the science of it, but then also is an artist and is like a really soft and beautiful and sort of anxious person. And so there's also, I've really approached the role sort of as an artist helping find missing people rather than like like a cop working in a scientific artistic way. So
Mm.
that's been sort of the take on it, is an artist who comes into this work to help people.
I think that's terrific. And I think it's interesting too, because you have two different kinds of artists who are working in this group on this team.
Mhm.
And I love the interplay between your character C and Kimmy. Like, I kind of you're a little bit like a Mulder and Scully, uh,
I
whereas Kimmy is the believer and C is the skeptic a little. Would you talk about that dynamic, please?
I love that dynamic. So Kemi is played perfectly by Adiola Role, who comes out of New York and is just, we've become fast friends, is just like such a delightful person. And the role of Kemi is so dynamic. I feel like I'm still sort of like figuring out all the layer. Like Kemi is such a deeply layered person who sort of has all these like faith aspects, but also is like genuinely like super intelligent when it comes to like the science and the facts of the situation. And so yeah, the two of us I think have this sort of gentle understanding, because C doesn't really like people. He doesn't, he's described as sort of more comfortable amongst the dead than the living, and I think that really is true. So when Kemi comes to visit the lab, you sort of get to see a little more of both of our characters, our humanity a little bit, which is, it is really fun. And I keep thinking like, man, season 2, I hope we really get a sort of duo.
Yeah.
That's manifesting though. That's, I'm a
yeah,
big,
keep it going.
yeah, big manifester.
Well, you touched on the cast a little bit. This show is led by Scott Kahn and Danny Ramirez.
Mm-hmm.
Would you talk a little bit about working with these two very heavy hitters?
It was nice to play a character that's anxious amongst people as I started, because a person was also anxious to be amongst these people, and I was like, use it for your art, baby. But it's been really inviting and lovely. And Ryan Broussard is part of the cast too, who I got to watch on Only Murders in the Building. And so like, yeah, the 5 of us just getting to like be in the space, we're all like, it's a very diverse crew. As people, we're diverse, our backgrounds are really diverse, how we're coming onto this show. So it's been this wonderful like circular mentorship of sort of like figuring out this show as we go. And this is my biggest project, so getting to like learn from folks that I've seen on TV has been really exciting. Yeah, Scott's a delight. We've had a blast. It's been really fun.
Great. Well, thank you for that. And
yeah,
so C really has a good backstory, even just with the 2 episodes that I've seen. C has a dad who I don't know if it's dementia, but his dad is just not verbal at all. And I think it's really interesting because the show is about missing persons and losing people in this crazy way that you hope never happens, through abduction or kidnapping or something like that. But then there is this universal loss that everyone goes through, losing someone in one way or the other. Would you talk about the way the show leans into that? I thought it was really intelligent.
It is. John Eisendrath is a really beautiful and complex writer. And I think, loss is so universal. And I've thought about, my own losses. I've never, thank God, had nor lost a child. And it's not all children this is not just for, it's missing persons in general. But there is so much to be said about the universal ideas around like grief and loss, and also, hope and renewal and rebirth. That's something that I've, really experienced myself as a gay, trans man. I think I have a breadth of loss as well as like hope and renewal to pull from. Yeah, it was really interesting to also dive into like a family aspect of things. So yeah, it's been really interesting what we all can pull on, as people dealing with sort of like what does it mean to absolutely give yourself over to something that's really scary, and what does it mean to like get back something different than how you thought it would be. I don't know. Like, I feel like you've known my career for a long time, and I, even talking about my reel, it's like my reel is half pre-transition and half post, medical transition, and even navigating Hollywood in that way. There's been an enormous amount of like hope and loss and renewal and starting over and trying again. And so I don't know, obviously entirely not the same thing as what the missing persons unit deals with, but I think there are so many layers within the script that deal with, what it means to give yourself over, hope for the best, and get something back.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely true. And then also I think that kind of universally an idea of loss and then getting something back. Also, this show coming out after this pandemic feels really weighted as well. It's really very fascinating.
I really do think it's gonna hit with audiences because I think, and there's so much community, like we have it really is a missing persons unit. Like it really is, the five of us working in all different ways to come at highly complex situations. So it's exciting to have like some community as diverse as we are, to have this community feel to the show is real. It's cute to see the relationships
Awesome.
develop as they go. So
well, so you touched on your history as a trans man, and something, unless I missed a line of dialogue or something, I've now seen the 2 episodes of this show. I have no idea if C is cis or trans, and there's something really kind of forward thinking and remarkable about not leading with that. I'm sure in your career you've had to, you're the trans guy, or you're this, or you've probably checked a lot of boxes for folks. Would you talk about the kind of beauty in not having to do that? I don't know how C identifies, but that's something lovely.
I can't tell you how gorgeous it is. To be on a procedural show as a person, in charge with a lot of knowledge, who's on the police side of things, or the helpful team of things, rather than being on one of these shows because of trans trauma, is, I mean, revolutionary, honestly. It's something that, like, I've looked a lot at, Brian Michael Smith on Lone Star 911 is like, that was so exceptional that he got to be this like out trans firefighter in this role. And he's like, his character is so, beloved. And it's incredibly exciting to me as an actor and with this character to just to have so many complex aspects to his character that in episodes 1 and 2, it hasn't even come up yet. It's not, we're not leading with it. We're not leading with trauma. When I booked the role, I had a lot of really great conversations with John, the creator, and some of the production team about like, who is C and what, what do you all see, and how are we, building this person out as a 3-dimensional person. And I'm so excited, and I hope later in the season you and I can have another conversation, because there's some really exciting identity stuff that I'm
oh good.
I'm really proud to be doing. So
amazing. Well, thank you. I just wanted to give you an opportunity, Petey. Is there anything else you wanted to touch on regarding Alert, or anything else you're working on?
It's interesting. Like I've done so much like self-developed stuff over the years. I had the Sympathy Card come to streaming last year that I like produced and I starred in, and I've got a couple of queer documentaries. Somehow I've gotten to the documentary space during the pandemic. We all did crazy things. We don't know what happened, and then the pandemic,
who knows?
who knows what we're doing, but I'm really excited. I've got 2 documentaries that I'm in pre-production on. So it's been incredible to just be an actor, because I'm so used to being like a writer, producer, actor, doing crafty, doing, all my own PR. So to just be on set as an actor and get to just do that and like give myself over to multiple episodes of television and like build a person out from scratch, it's like an acting dream, even though it is hard for me to give up control, because I am used to I am used to doing every single aspect of it, and I'm like, oh, you're just gonna give me a script and I'm gonna do it, acting, okay, yeah. So.
Yeah, well, that's the letting go, right?
That's the 2023 energy that we're doing. We're letting go. We're loving with an open hand, Tracy. That's what I'm calling it.
Okay, well, I'm going to start using that.
Please, we just let it fly.
Well, Petey Gibson, thank you so much for joining me, and congratulations on Alert. Would you share where and when people can watch this series?
Yes, we are premiering. It's going to be on Monday nights on Fox at 9/8 Central, though we're premiering this Sunday, the
Uh,
8th. Oh God, Tracy, edit this part out. But it's right after NFL Sunday. So watch sports and then watch Alert.
Watch Alert. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Petey. I appreciate it.
It's been so good to see you and talk to you.
Good to see you.
Bye.